All right, at least I've got my computer working again. Just had a little plug that came loose, so everything's okay on this end, and thank God I've got a second computer, so we got a backup, so we didn't lose much time, didn't lose much information, and this will be a two-part video. Uh, I will start doing that. I will do a search in Calhoun County for tea parties for well, there's a number of different organizations that are trying to do something. OAS has representatives in many counties, and I think what you are doing is makes more sense than just the OAS or the march. I mean, there's a lot of people can't afford to march on Washington, and this they're asking for people to go there unarmed. It's and they've canceled people on coming on my show because I do talk about Israel. I do talk, and there are organizations out there that are simply there and probably started by the bankers, the Zionists out there to promote Israel. Right now they're attacking John Kerry because he referred to Israel as an apartheid state, and it is. So suddenly they're attacking their own people here. Kerry hasn't been, he's a member of the same secret society as George Bush.
Did you know that they were distant cousins?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
They both belong to Skull and Bones?
Skull and Bones, yes. It's, these secret societies, many of them, the Masons, I mean, the Master Mason, I got his book, Morals and Dogma, sitting right here beside me. I put it next to the Bible so it maybe it'll neutralize each other. He referred to the Third World War. He predicted the first two World Wars, Albert Pike, and he referred to the Third World War as being a war with the Muslims. And they certainly, from 9/11 on, they've certainly been trying to demonize and incite the Muslims. What's your take on that?
Well, I think that people need to realize the fact that the people at the very top of the tyrannical pyramid control lots of organizations beneath them. And I believe that the Muslims are essentially controlled opposition. I believe that the people who really control the political environment on the earth basically have created the Muslims and created this whole situation. I believe that they are just useful idiots. Frankly, they're basically being used just like I believe that most all religions essentially are being used to enslave people and to give them false hope and a false sense of security. I think that organized religion is a product of the minds of men who have used it to try to control other men. And so I think we need to be very, very careful. I'm in no way am I diminishing the importance of God. I am a firm believer that there is a God, and I believe that He's a just and fair God. And I believe that the God that we oftentimes in the Christian community are taught to believe is not a God of justice and love. He's a God of vengeance and retribution and inequality. I don't understand how a God of love can have a favorite group of people. I don't understand how the idea that God loves the Jews more than He loves anyone else. This just doesn't make any sense to me at all. I think God we are all God's children. We are all brothers and sisters. And I believe that He loves us all the same. And I think the fact that the Jews would have us believe that somehow that they are the chosen people, I think that this is absolutely an absurd notion, and this forces God to be a God that's not worthy of my love and admiration and respect. I take a little example at the story of the Battle of Jericho, and I think, well, wait a minute. If this God told Moses in the Ten Commandments that thou shalt not kill, and he didn't, what he basically was saying is that thou shalt not initiate aggressive force against others. Thou shalt not kill people, except if you're using, except in self-defense. So if that God who basically said thou shalt not kill turned around then and told Joshua to kill every man, woman, and child in the city of Jericho, I've got a problem, because God tells Moses not to kill, and He tells Joshua to kill. So what that tells me basically is that either God is a hypocrite and a liar, or the people who wrote the Bible didn't tell us the truth.
Well, you know, right up here on my website, I've got a whole article here, and one paragraph here. I said our First Amendment protects your right to worship who or how you wish. In our efforts to please, fit in, and conform, we forget that all religions were created by men just like us. Some loved us and tried to pass on their wisdom and conclusions to us and our heirs with love. Others wanted to use the words to control, enslave, and accumulate riches through lies. When the brightest and best among us ran them from the temple, they were murdered, and the lies crafted to make their murderers into idols by calling them the chosen ones. Now ask yourself, why would we allow the murderers of Jesus to create a graven image of His defeated corpse hanging on a cross as the symbol of a new religion? Look back through history and the demonization and destruction of people and civilizations greater than our own, and the genocide we are still uncovering and exposing today. I've tried to point out those who are trying to enslave or control us, but we must fight evil without becoming evil. As Willie Nelson, one of our great American heroes, said, "My heroes have always been cowboys, but I do not hate Indians. My brothers, our fathers and grandfathers, all veterans, fought the Germans, the Chinese, the Vietnamese, the Russians, the Iraqis, the Afghans, and Jews, but we should recognize that we were all victims of our own criminal controllers, our own governments, and we should find a way to work together without hate or fear. The lines have been crossed too many times to point the finger of hate at each other."
What the world needs now is love.
Humanity needs a compelling vision if it wants to stand any chance in this battle of principalities that Jesus told us about. We need a vision of communities working together for the common good and the welfare of all. I'm talking about the vision of a compassionate society where every person is valued and nobody left behind. A vision of a world without hate and fear. We need to envision a world where governments first and foremost care about the people, who act like a loving, responsible father and take care of everyone. We must envision a world without elitist. Indulge in that vision and be 100% committed to it. And by saying that, I don't suggest to kill them all. This is a vision thing. We're not supposed to worry about the details, how to get there, but be totally clear about the desired outcome and leave the rest to God of the universe. All we need to know is what we want and be excited about what it would mean for mankind. A world without war, terror, slavery, deceit, exploitation, prostitution, perversion, the killing of unborn babies, and deliberate poisoning of bodies and minds. It would be a world where we don't work 45 out of 50 years to pay for interest and taxes. In other words, it would be bliss. And Keith, I believe it's your choice. It's our choice. It's a choice between good and evil, beauty and ugliness, truthfulness and pathological lying, decency and perversion, compassion and sadism, freedom and hedonism, contentment and greed, self-respect and supremacy, love of life and a satanic death cult, humility and maniac depression, a fair go for everyone, and taking advantage of your fellow men.
You know, Bob Podolsky wrote a book called Flourish, and one of the things that Bob has indicated is the fact that the reason that we have conflict in the world is because people are divided, and people are divided and put into classes. There's hierarchies. Virtually every government there's a hierarchy. There's the oligarchy at the top, and there's the masses at the bottom, and there are different levels of so-called mid-management. And frankly, this division of society into social classes is the thing that sows the seed of tyranny. It also sows the seeds of injustice, inequality, hatred, wars, poverty. All of these things are the direct result. We need to create, and this is what our founding fathers were attempting to do, was to create a society without classes, where every man, woman, and child on the planet was going to be treated the same in the eyes of God, where they would all have equal opportunity to prosper and to flourish. And frankly, our societies have always essentially been ones where the few have persecuted the many. And that has been essentially the story of man's inhumanity to man. And that we need to strive to create a government where the people will not be divided into hierarchies or classes. Once again, the book is called Flourish. I strongly suggest that people get a copy of that book and read Bob Podolsky's great work.
Keith, up on freeamerican.com, I've got all of these shows that I've had with a little bit more information about it than just on my schedule. I had Gene Chip Tatum on yesterday, Gary Hunt before that, J.B. Campbell before that, and John Kaminsky on before that. Dr. Jim Garrow was on. Jim Neighbors, who does the overpasses, the signs on the overpasses, he was on. Russell Papalardo was just on. All you got to do is click on the name of the guest, and you will be able to hear the show. And if you scroll down there, you can see Bob Podolsky, Titanians.org. Flourish will change your life. It's a life-changing book. His book, Bob Podolsky's new book, Flourish, has been read and highly regarded by some of the liberty movement's deepest thinkers and strongest leaders. Folks like Clyde Cleveland, Foster Gamble, and of course he was on Clay Douglas's show. We're almost out of time here, Keith. I appreciate everything you're doing. I really appreciate being able to work with you. You can go to, there's links all over my site to the Constitution Club. I will have the Patriot FB up on the top of the site here, right below my latest issue of the magazine. April's up there right now. May will be out within a day or two. If you can go to any of the donate buttons are working now. If you want to donate $2.99 or more a month, all you got to do is check the reoccurring button on there. Put a check mark in that, and that'll come out of Facebook every once a month. I need your help to stay on, to keep on the air, to keep doing what I'm doing here, and I think I'm doing the right thing because I've got guests like you and I've got links to everything that you're doing. So I really appreciate the support. I appreciate the efforts. And folks, it's just never been easy to be free, but we can do that. Hopefully I'll have another network coming up here. It'll be linked on the site shortly. And we've got Keith Broders has been my guest today. The links are up on Facebook. It's up on Patriot FB. Pass it on. Tell people. Talk to people. If we work together, we don't have to hang alone. Keith,
they say inch by inch it's a cinch, by the yard it's hard. Thanks very much, Clayton.
Thank you, sir. God bless you, and see you soon. Call me anytime.